So just a bit of an update. A few days ago we left the Flinders from the Adventure Classic 2, and during that event we had a little bit of an incident with an injury, and I'm here with that guy right now, and I'm going to put you over to him so he can tell you his story. But yeah, his ride got cut a little bit short. So this is a guy called Adam Wilson, and he's come to a few of my events, and he's had a blast of a time, but this time it didn't all go to plan. So here he is.
Like this is, we're heading home now. Did a little bit of a stop in at the hospital for a while. Guys checked me over and pointed out a bit of an issue with the vertebrae breakage. All good, up and about, walking, heading back home now. Go and get taken care of by mum. Run out of talent on a little stretch, pulled up a bit short and wanting, but yeah, the camaraderie was awesome. Got looked after like a king. Got airlifted, got all the hospital taken care. Stu and Lee are kind enough to drive me halfway home, where my wife will meet up with me. Happy days.
Your recovery time was pretty good too, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not fully recovered.
No, but I mean getting you out of
getting out
where you were.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it was only 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, recovery out off the crash site.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ambulance took quite some time to get in there. A little bit of tough terrain.
Apart from that, how was your ride, brother?
The ride was awesome, and I actually got a day in before the ride kicked off, so I got my money anyway. All right,
man.
I'll swing you back to Stu.
So yeah, we're just heading out to meeting, sort of halfway between here and New South Wales. We're out near Warwick, Nabil, and going to Witcherproof. Yeah, and then from there, me and Leona will ride back into. We're just going to go down to Grampians for a couple of days and check that out and have a bit of fun down there, and then head home. So yeah, cheers for watching. When we left Witcherproof, we were heading towards this huge storm front that was coming up from sort of the southeast, and we ended up zigzagging through all of these different dirt roads, and we headed west, and then we was headed south, and then back east, and then back west again, just trying to stop ourselves from getting drenched. So we're in Minyip, and we've just dodged a whole heap of rain. So heading to Horsham. Just out of Minyip, we headed along this dirt road. As you can see, that massive storm front there on our left, and it was sort of to our right as well. And I was sort of looking to try and sneak through the middle there, but behind me, this road was just like a dust bowl, and it wasn't long, and yeah, things got pretty hectic. It was hectic. So we hit a bit of clay, just walking down to the next road. We didn't go down like, we're only doing 1k an hour, but yeah, I felt it starting to get a bit slippery. So yeah, just bitumen down here, but have a look at this. She is chockers. Oh yeah, that's what I call caked. So wouldn't want to be doing this on a GS. It was heavy before, but now you can imagine the weight that's on this thing. So I'm off the road on this verge, gonna head down there. Crazy amount of rain must have just come through here. So I pulled the bike off to the verge, and it's just as slippery up here on the verge, but there's a tiny little bit of vegetation that's sort of helping me out. I'm on a bike that weighs, sort of 170 kilos, plus I've got about 25 kilos on the back and all my gear. And it wasn't easy. I'm, a foot away from the fence, riding along, a pretty sort of steep sort of a verge, with a big gutter to my left. So yeah, not much fun, but you sort of got to do what you got to do to get out of stuff like this. Finally made it back onto the road through that gutter there, and yeah, the road is just insane. You can hear, like, I'm just feathering that clutch. I'm like doing a quarter of a K an hour, and you can see I'm like completely all over the road. I have no steering whatsoever. The bike's collected about 50 kilos of mud by this stage, and I'm just looking at that bitch and going, heck yeah, this is going to be awesome getting off here. So we've gone and, found a bunch of sticks and stuff to try and get all this mud out from in between the guards and around the wheels, and it was a timely bit of a mission, trying to stick our sticks in there and pull all this mud out, but we got there eventually.
That was lucky, eh?
Call that luck.
At this stage I've actually already been for a thrash up the road and ridden through every single puddle that I possibly could, which sort of cleared out the centre of the guard and the front mud guard a fair bit. But yeah, that massive chunk of clay there, just insane trying to get all that out of there.
Crazy.
But yeah, we got it eventually. It was a bit of sitting in the rain doing this type of stuff's not the best. So after we'd cleared most of that, Mrs. jumped on the back. She just steps on the pillion peg and holds on to me and leans over and gets over that way. It's not too hard, like I make sure I brace myself and she just jumps up. It's all pretty easy. And then it was all about, we were going to actually try and get to Warwick Nabil, but we ended up just following the GPS and straight down into the Grampians. So we sort of turned south and we're heading along this beautiful bitumen road with just this stunning scenery, and we came across one of the most phenomenal natural phenomenons that I've seen in a very long time. The most stunning rainbow. How good is that? Unbelievable.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
We're about 20 k's out of Horsham. It has been belting down. We are wet, but it is epic. Well, we made it to the Grampians. We've got our tent set up. We've got a fire going over there. And yeah, everything's good. It's a bit of a mission getting in here. We had a bit of a moment, as I was saying. This is our tent. And we're in a shelter. And we've got a nice fire going. Beautiful. Grampians camping mission. It's funny how easy it is to rip everything out of your gear and get all your stuff all set up, and yeah, it never goes back in the same. Especially I found with 2-up. Like when you're doing 2-up stuff, when you're solo riding, you can always seem to get it back pretty well perfect, but I don't know, having that extra person around and extra bits and pieces that you're not used to, you end up sort of stuffing it up and not getting it back the same as you did the day before, and everything's sort of out of order a bit, but well. A magnificent morning up here in the Grampians. It's sort of middle of Victoria and on the southern end. It's just like this random massive mountain range, and it's not that big, but it's stunningly beautiful. As you can see, we've got our little mates just floating around everywhere here. They're pretty tame, little, I don't know, wallabies.
Hey. friendly Skippy. Oh.
Don't want to encounter any of them on the road, but yeah, absolutely brilliant, this place. So yeah, we're all loaded up, ready to cruise off on another mission through the Grampians. Then we're going to go down to the coast and sort of start heading back to Adelaide through that way. So we had some clay issues yesterday. We're following a big rain cloud. I know I'll show you some photos. It was absolutely amazing, stunning rainbows and stuff. It was just so good. Took some wicked photos. And we're flying along this dirt road, trying to sort of snip around the edge of it, and it was dust. Like behind me was dust, and it started to look like there had been a little bit of precipitation on the actual road. Next thing, it was just like slippery clay, like you wouldn't believe. I sort of picked it and I slowed right down, and you know, trickled back to some, you know, to like 1k an hour, and we made it sort of through about halfway, and then it was just so slippery that we actually tipped the bike over, and me and the missus had to you know, lift it up on the slippery clay. And if you've ever done that, you know what it's like. But I'll tell you one thing, we got out of there in the end. It was all good. One thing though, that golden tyre, so I run an enduro tyre on the front, and it just stuck, and it's old, it's crappy, it's done like 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers. Look at it, it's a GT 216 AA fatty from, and I'm not endorsed, I don't get anything for free from Golden Tyres in Adelaide, which is Todd Jones. You can pick up Prospect or Greenock. There you go, Toddy, I gave you a plug, mate. But the Midas EO7, as good as it is on everything else, it's yeah, it's ridiculous on clay. But we made it out of there, so didn't change the tyre pressures or anything, just trundled on through. So something to be said about having an enduro tyre on the front. I think that saved us for sure.
Where to now?
Now we're going to Hall's Gap, so up in the middle of the Grampians. We're going to go and have some breakfast. We're going to go to a because we forgot our little piggy snack bag yesterday, and so we've had no food, so we're going to go to Hall's Gap and yeah, pig out, and then we're going to go and see the sights. We were pretty low on fuel by this time, so we headed into this place called Wartook, filled up with fuel, and then decided we'd go onto this track, which was Chinaman's track, and about halfway along here is another track which actually splits the mountains, called Carter's track, which I wanted to go and have a look at as well. Carter's track was pretty hard actually, 2 up, trying to get over all of this rock and up these rock steps, and you know, through these ruts. Wasn't easy 2 up. The missus is absolutely perfect. She's amazing on the back. She just holds on, stays straight, doesn't throw me out at all.
Whoa, what a track, honey.
So I dropped her off and decided, I was looking at the topo on the GPS, and I thought, you know, it gets pretty steep up here. I actually stop here and go, wow, what do I do? Do I turn around or do I keep going? So yeah, the topo was pretty crazy, but I was getting pretty close to the top. So yeah, got back on it again, and you know, and got up this section. It was wet as well. There's like a creek running down through there, so it sort of threw me off. Really steep on the left there. If you fall over that way, it's not going to be much fun either. Actually got a bit stuck here, just having to think about it, just trying to work out, should I continue? So got to the point where if I was on an enduro bike, or even on this by myself. No dramas, but I'm definitely not going to take my missus up that. Yeah, so we'll probably go back down and just cruise the normal way, unfortunately. Gets a bit too steep, babe.
Hey?
We'll have to go back down.
I'll walk down. It's easier to walk down.
Ah, come on, jump on.
Hey? It's very steep though.
Ah, you'll be right.
You sure?
Yeah. You just hold on to me, you'll be fine.
Have you ever dropped the bike going down?
What do you mean? All the time. Come on.
You went all the way to the top?
No, I got to a point it gets pretty crazy, so.
Oh, is it? Okay.
In?
Yeah.
She's a pretty gutsy chick. I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere up some steep bloody track, and you know, she's listening to me saying, yeah, I fall off all the time. Yeah, it still gets on the back and you know, doesn't have a spit about it, has a bit of a laugh, which is cool. What a mission. So we tried to get up Carter's track, 2 up, fully loaded, and made it about 3/4 of the way, and then that top steep pinch, I just wasn't willing to take the risk. So not 2 up anyway, but no, it's an amazing track. Would love to have got over the hill, but we couldn't do it. So now we're going around on Chinaman track. So we're just going to follow this all the way around. It's pretty cash going through here, 2 up, fully loaded. It's called Chinaman track, sort of out of Wartook or whatever that is. So the road just before Wartook, that little town. But no, it's beautiful here, perfect day, there's no wind, cool conditions, maybe 20 degrees, just beautiful. What do you reckon, babe? How was Carter's track? How was Carter's track?
It was okay.
What was wrong with it?
No, it was good. No more.
Chinaman's track winds its way along for a fair distance actually. Definitely wouldn't want to do this in the wet, especially 2 up, but in the dry it's not too bad. The ruts hasn't sort of rained out here for a fair while, and it's very dry and hard packed, so the ruts are sort of full of you know, smaller rocks and dirt, so you're not too worried about it. The erosion mounds are always, you know, they're interesting, but they're pretty easy. We did encounter an erosion mound, didn't go too well.
What happened?
So we lost our screen because Leona on the back, she was a bit off balance coming down this here, and got no more screen, but doesn't matter, no one's hurt. We were like literally just rolling, so oh well. Yeah, the whole of Chinaman's track it's pretty consistent. There's a lot of erosion mounds, but it sort of winds its way across the mountains, across this back face or this western face of the mountains. Beautiful scenery off to your right there, absolutely stunning. Definitely a lot of challenges, like just short, steep stuff with erosion mounds through it, and some of the erosion mounds are on a diagonal or off camber as well, which is what caught us out at that last one where we just had a little tumble, and you know, we were doing like 1k an hour again, and we both bailed a long distance from the bike, so we were fine. So we made it down to Lake Waraltuk or Waterlook or something like that. Wartuk. No dramas at all besides no screen. Beautiful little spot. Camping everywhere, huts, you name it. Love it.
Where are we?
I think we're at the balconies. The balconies. Let's go to the other one. So I think this is Reed's Lookout or the balconies or something like that, and it is absolutely stunning. Finally made our way down into Hall's Gap and went to the bakery there. It was absolutely beautiful, and then we went out and sat on the benches out the front of the bakery and got swarmed by sulphur-crested cockatoos. They were everywhere, and they were super friendly. They'd come right up to you, and you could, you know, have them on your shoulder or whatever, and feed these beautiful birds if you wanted to. Obviously there's signs everywhere that say whatever you do, don't feed the birds, but you know, we fed them. It was a bit of fun. Yes, we're naughty people, but who cares? Feed the birds, have a bit of an experience, and then yeah, we headed off pretty much south, down the eastern face this time of the Grampians, and yeah, made our way down to Portland.
Where are we, Anne?
Lost in paradise. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up camp somewhere around here, and then we'll head back into Nelson and then have a feed and then come back out. So we're here in Nelson, and we got a sneaky little cabin last night for some good times. Saturday morning, main street of Mount Gambier. Beautiful little place, and we've managed to find the most expensive place in the whole of Mount Gambier to eat at this morning. I think our croissants are like $25 or something, so oh well, you get that. Some epic beasts rolling on by. Into the pine forest just out of Mount Gambier. Such a beautiful place. Big wide open roads, quite undulating. You can get into some steeper stuff if you want to, or just cruise along these stunning open roads. Great views everywhere. There was a little bit of wildlife around, wasn't too bad though, so definitely worth checking out. Nelson this morning, and we're on our way to Beachport. We just came through Mount Gambier, and we're on the other side of Mount Gambier now in all these magnificent pine forests. Absolutely beautiful through here. Everything's open. The roads are like highways. Everything's signposted really well, and it's just a beautiful place to be if you're ever down here. You can't get lost. All the tracks come up on your GPS, so I'd highly recommend cruising through this section of pines. It is beautiful, and there's not a lot of you know, sort of open and legal places I suppose you can get to with pine forests in South Australia, so definitely worth taking a cruise through here. It's beautiful. So after we get out of these pines, it's pretty much road riding all the way, and we're headed for Kingston. Wanted to fill up at Kingston and then sort of get onto the beach and ride all the way to the Granites or even further. Wasn't sure at this stage, but it's just going through the back of my mind. Get to Kingston and cruise on after that, but definitely wanted to get on the beach. We've just pulled in at Long Beach in Kingston. Absolutely beautiful down here. It's like not a breath of wind, glass out there, and we're going to ride two up along the beach until we get to the granites. Yeah, this is pretty easy beach riding. It's hard packed. There's really nothing to worry about at all. It's dead flat. There's like a road almost on this beach where, you know, obviously where all the beach goers sort of come up and down. Beautiful though. We were so lucky. There was this sea fog that you can sort of just see it just above us, and it just gets worse and worse and worse the whole way to Meningie. By the time we got out to, you know, sort of closer to Meningie, it was thick. It was amazing, but right on the beach at Kingston, it's wicked. So we're out here on a salt pan, and it's like this eerie fog everywhere. We're somewhere in between Kingston and Meningie. Kingston in the southeast and Meningie, and it's just beautiful. We thought we'd just pop onto the salt pan, take a few photos. On the home stretch now, only about 200 to go. So we're in Meningie now on the home stretch. Nothing interesting to report between now and home, that's for sure. So catch up with you at home, do a bit of a recap. Well, absolute mission 2-up ride done. Victoria, South Australia, on the DR650, and it really went well. I've done it before. We did a bit of a mission out to the Flinders Ranges. We were more loaded than what we were this time, so this time it was pretty good, even though we did some pretty gnarly tracks. So well done to the missus. She's a great pillion. Knows when to hold on and always to be straight and never to lean by herself, which is a common problem that pillions have. They try and lean around the corners before you do, and it throws you off. But yeah, she just sticks tight and does a good job. So yeah, it was a real pleasure actually, doing a 2-up ride with the missus. So yeah, highly recommended.